When it comes to the history of Africa, many of us tend to begin our discourse from the era of the transatlantic slave trade and colonization. We rarely bother to find out what was going on the continent before the invasion of the Arabs and later the Europeans. Even when we make a frantic effort to find out this information, we often get misinformed because most of the popular information out there are versions of the invaders.
Some may ask, why? Why are we bothered about the past? Why can't we just forget the past and focus on the present? Well, that's a valid question if you ask me. But the truth is, it's impossible to know our destination if we are not aware of the mistakes that led us to our present sorry situation. I think there are a lot of lessons embedded in history. But contrary to what I have observed among young Africans, the purpose of this lesson is not to create hate or vindictiveness, but to enable us acquire valuable information from our glorious past. Use the acquired information to correct our present and then create a great future for generations to come. Now, to put everything I'm trying to say in a proper historical perspective, let's go back to 1879. In 1879, a British traveler, Robert Falcon, witnessed and recorded the account of a Cesarean section being performed on a 20-year-old woman by a native surgeon in a kingdom called Bunyoro in the present-day Uganda. In his account, he wrote, "The healer used banana wine as an anesthetic to cleanse his hand and her abdomen before the surgery. He used a midline incision and applied cautery to minimize hemorrhaging. He massaged the uterus to make it contract but did not suture it. The abdominal wound was pinned with iron needles and dressed with a paste prepared from roots. During the whole operation, the patient never uttered a moan or cry. She was comfortable after the operation, and 2 hours later, she was already breastfeeding her newborn." According to Falcon, the patient recovered well, and he concluded that this technique was well developed and had clearly been in use for a very long time. Falcon's account was received with skepticism because at this period in England, a cesarean section was considered an extreme measure and was only performed in rare cases. This gives a clear understanding of how Africans mastered the art of medical science before any contact with the outside world, and wonder where Africa would be today if we had improved on this system, on this method of organic medicine over the years. Africa would have been a haven for medical tourism. Today in Africa, 550 women die for every 100,000 children born. This sums up to about 200,000 maternal deaths
per year, and this is about 2/3 of the maternal deaths worldwide. It's huge. Experts say these deaths could have been prevented if there were enough health workers to carry out a successful Cesarean section. Aside from losing the knowledge that were used to perform C-sections in old times, the rise of religious beliefs and superstitions among Africans also contributes to maternal mortality. For instance, in my country, Nigeria, a lot of people think C-sections is a spiritual attack or it's a punishment from God for sins committed. Endless prayer sessions are held in a bid to discard the idea of having a C-section. For you to understand what I'm trying to say clearly, this is what a doctor had to say. Now, this is a doctor who studied medicine, scared of C-section because of what she heard from prayer warriors. What about normal people? How do they survive? People who don't have any knowledge of medicine. How do they survive if a doctor can take the advice from prayer warriors to avoid a C-section? These are clear indications that the IQ of an average African is dropping significantly. If the so-called primitive Africans could see the need for a C-section and came up with solutions hundreds of years ago, why would a civilized African today pray against it? Something to ponder upon. Hi, before you go, so when I was making this video, I tried to see what are the lessons I can learn from this. What can we learn? And this is what I've discovered. Our people, our ancestors actually had a lot of knowledge, but they could not transfer this knowledge, further because of intertribal wars. There was no way we could. We didn't share this knowledge with each other. That is why when the slave trade happened and the wars and all of that, the knowledge died with them. And we know the invaders destroyed some of them, but the truth is our ancestors were disunited even before the invaders came. And today we are still disunited. For instance, the trades among African countries is just 12%, while trades of African countries and outside world is amount to 67%. That means we have learned nothing from history, and it's a pity. If we truly want to grow as a continent, we must begin to learn from history. Thank you for watching. Please leave your comment, like or share, and give me a suggestion for the next video to make. Africa must be free. Thank you for watching. Bye.